Oh, here we go, boys.
So I've played one.
All right, this guy has played 100 hours of Black Desert in 2024, so you don't have to. Let's see what he has to say. Keep in mind, this says in 2024, so you're like 100 hours, you're just like, huh, casual. No, we're like 10 days to just 100. Chill, guys. There it is. I told you. This is 2024. It was published 5 days ago, which means he only had 13 days to get to 100 hours. All right? This guy, in 13 days... Quick maths, is played 7.5 hours a day.
100 hours of BDO in 2024 already, and well, this is the review. There will be chapters in the video description as well as, you know, in the timeline. So if you want to jump to the score at the very end, you can do that, or if you want to jump to different parts of the review or
score.
What we did, you can also do that. So let's get started, and maybe we'll get started with what BDO even really is.
He's a striker. He's not just a striker. He's a striker literally wearing a fucking helmet. Okay. Which is pretty accurate.
Maybe we'll get started with what BDO even really is.
Look at this motherfucker, dude. You're literally playing the most amazing graphical MMO in the entire fucking world, and your stupid ass put like a sack on your head. What the fuck is that, man?
BDO used to be a PvE and PvP mmorpg when it launched, mainly focusing on grinding, you know, the
I love how he said it used to be a PvP MMO. Oh god, dude.
The standard
half the audience preach.
Korean grinder. At the very launch of it, it had also very little cash up stuff, and well, that changed over time, obviously. As it
all right, where's everyone's eyes at? I hate to be this guy, but where?
In grinder, at the very launch of
all
it,
right, what's everyone looking at?
It had also very little cash.
What's everyone looking at? Yeah. Gee, God, look at that scenery. Boy, God, look how nice the scenery looks.
And well, that changed.
If you found yourself drifting a little to the left, there's help available. Jesus.
Changed over time, obviously, as it always does, right? So at the very beginning or later on, the game developed into a PvE grinder with a very high focus.
The game started off as PvP and now it's just a PvE grind simulator.
Focus on open world. So that means the open world was very populated. There was a lot of open world PvP. There was a lot of competition on your specific grind spots, and there was a lot of competition between guilds on specific grind spots, essentially creating an open world PvP scene, and that eventually became also a siege and node war scene, so a large scale PvP event that would occur either every other day with node wars or every Saturday for a siege.
Okay. What is that, Ruff?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even kill him.
F56 almost killed me. F57 almost killed. He's killing me. Someone do something. Cut the stream.
And you're supposed to be in a fucking meme guild.
Holy shit, it's lazy fucking peon.
Caterpillicious from Spicy says that we shouldn't troll people. We shouldn't have what a fucking white knight cut.
After watching that again, those were some good fucking times, weren't they?
They were.
Nowadays, BDO's not so focused on PvP anymore, and
Correct.
sieges and open world PvP and stuff like that, and they've shifted away from that type of endgame into a more relaxed environment, meaning there is actually instanced grind spots now that you can get into every other hour, meaning that no one can compete with you, no one can fight.
And dude, the zone's over there. Yeah, you gotta...
Relaxed environment, meaning there is actually instanced grind spots now
no, dude,
that you can get into every other hour.
No,
meaning there...
Buddy, the mobs are that way.
No one can compete with you.
Yeah, you can't really fault him. He's wearing a bucket. You know what I mean? It's like Stevie Wonder trying to find his grind spot for the first time.
no one can fight you, no one can gank you, you know. A lot of people find that very annoying if they just want to chill and relax and grind, so you can do that every other hour now.
People try to gank you while you're grinding? It's weird.
On top of that, everyone gets a tier 9 horse for free. Traversing the land is very easy. Getting ganked while you have a Pegasus is also pretty hard to do. And on top of that,
true, his character name is Lee Sin.
There's also the Magnus quest line and various other quest lines that help you progress your character. So it's much more streamlined. And on top of that, there's literal teleports on the map now where you can traverse, you know, large parts of the...
Please crash. Please crash right now. Come on.
Literally just a teleport. So it's a lot less about the open world, it's a lot less about the sandbox feel, but it's much more about the individual character's progression. So if you're into that, if you're a very long-term, maybe even a solo-minded player...
it's definitely still a super sandbox MMO. You can still just do whatever you want. It's just less focused on PvP because that was driving players away from the game.
I would highly recommend BDO still today. If you're more of a PvP, maybe more of a competitive PvE kind of player, it's probably not really your cup of tea anymore.
That's not true. That's just flat out, that's just a wrong take. It's... Regardless of how much PvP changes have been in the game, whether you like it or not, BDO is still the #1. If you want to do PvP in an MMO, it's BDO. It's every time it is BDO. What the fuck are you gonna send them to WoW? Get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, I think that's basically the main thing I wanted to talk about here, that the game has kind of shifted from a more PvP centric end game focus to a more do whatever you like and progress at your own pace, and eventually, you know, you'll get your gear upgrades.
That is the way that it goes, yes. Now, it's definitely less PvP focused, I agree with him, but considering the other MMOs on the market, it's definitely still the best PvP MMO on the market, hands down, if that's what you're looking for.
Although that comes with obviously one problem, and that is a lot of people lack meaning in all of the grind, because technically all you're really doing is you're grinding or you're life skilling.
That's not true. What do you grind for? Okay, you might be right.
Just to life skill or grind faster or more efficiently. So
no, I can grind circles in higher tier spots faster if I have more gear. Meaningful.
Oh. Yeah, for a lot of people that's not enough to keep going, and that includes me. So let's first of all go into what I've even done in the 100 hours, so you kind of get an understanding what we tried out. Because the game has changed a lot over the years, and nowadays there's a couple of content pieces that haven't existed before, so obviously I wanted to try them out. Okay. If you're a completely new player, your experience will be quite different, because you will probably start on a season server, and then you will be tasked with a lot of different things, including a lot of quest lines and a lot of journals that I think are terrible early game content.
Not just you. Not just you. The journals are chores. Okay.
I think
you have to do your chores before you can go outside and actually play the game. By outside, I mean of like town. Don't leave your house.
If you're a new player, the first 100, 200 hours are actually going to be a lot of quest lines. If you want to be efficient, that is. Obviously, you can skip them in the beginning too. But also, that brings me to what I've done first, which was figuring out what the hell is going on with my inventory. This is what I'm talking about. What is all this?
Okay, just all right. He right. Okay, first of all, he right. They're working on condensing all this shit. He right. You get a lot of shit, but I'm also thinking that 100 hours and you're wearing a Pry fucking Kaposha. You're wearing a Tet Kaposha necklace. Where the fuck did you even get that? How did you fuck this up? And what? He didn't even get it with his J's here. What? Excuse me? Dude got Vels. What? Just went to Vel one time. It's just like, they just get the drop. Oh, fucking do it again.
Oh my god. This game has, well, it's an older MMO obviously, so there's a lot of items, there's a lot of buffs, there's a lot of events,
True.
There's a lot of things going on.
I don't know how he has a Tekka Potion necklace. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a fucking brain tickler.
And just figuring that out took a while.
How did he get that? Did he take it? He had to have taken it from his Y menu and then enhanced it. Right? That's the only way you can get a Tekka Potion necklace.
So that's the first thing that I
with
did.
dreaming. Yeah, but he didn't do the seasonal weekly thing.
Basically sat around and we just
line.
figured out what kind of items I have, which ones are valuable, and so on, right? Then we had to figure out what kind of buffs we need to use, because that's also incredibly bloated.
What the f*** are you
BDO.
using?
Just to grind, there's like a couple different buffs you even have to think about.
This dude's got a duo Potion necklace locked in his inventory.
Like church buff,
What
loot
is it?
scroll.
Why do you have another one? Why the where are you getting these? What is going on? How is he? What?
Your black spirit can give you buffs. You have a food buff. You have an elixir
That set aside, he's speaking facts right now. There's just too much shit to do before you start grinding. 100% spitting facts.
rotation. You could even run a perfume. You have an alchemy stone. You have a tent buff, and then a second tent buff on top of that.
No, you don't get duo Potion necklaces from season. Doesn't happen.
Just, you know, to give you an example, you can obviously, you know, spin that even further, and you have even more.
No, you don't get it
buffs
from leveling either. You get tri Potion necklace from getting 65. Okay, so you get base Capotias, right? And then he probably enhanced it to duo.
and more efficient elixir rotations and whatever, but just getting into that was also already confusing. Okay, so there's already the first pretty big issue, I think, but a lot of older MMOs have that, where they shower you with different items and you don't
He kind of looks like if you had hair. Shut up. No, he doesn't.
even know like what half the things are, and then you pair that with that many buffs.
It's just because we have the same headset, except that his is duct taped.
To be efficient while grinding, which can become pretty exhausting pretty quickly. Then we started grinding Star's End for 2.
This is Achman. He is on Arsha Anonymous. You guys can't see it. I'll pull it down. Arsha Anonymous. I do want to point out, thank God the developers added another Arsha server so that we never have to actually PvP each other. God bless. God bless him. Why the fuck are you at Achman at level 63? Okay. What the fuck happened?
Then I tried at Achman Temple in the desert, which is gonna get a little bit of a new
Oh, you just tried it. Okay.
light in it, which is a new Dekia spot very soon.
Okay, good.
Which is more of an endgame area. And then we tried Sakraya, the underwater area.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, Orcs, because I got a couple of upgrades, and I had finally had enough
Here we go.
EP to actually grind
Here's
there.
the real
Then we
grind zone, boys.
tried out Black Shrine, which is a new solo bossing mode, which was introduced last year, meaning you can actually go into different boss fights on different difficulties and, you know, fight them one-on-one. So it's not quite gear balanced. There's still a lot of things that matter in these fights.
He's a veteran player who played back in 2016, kept playing on and off and then full quit when Lost Ark dropped. This wasn't all done in 100 hours.
I get that, but he played 100 hours in 2024. So what he's saying is, in the last 15 days, he's grinded 100 hours. And he's still got a Tet Kaposha necklace on. At no point did it occur to him to finish seasonal and take the free Pen Kaposha necklace. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Also, yeah, he had Vels, probably because he pulled it out of a box.
It's a lot more gear
Now, so far he's had good takes.
balanced than the rest
I gotta criticize this gear a little bit because there's some crazy shit going
of
on.
the game, basically. Maybe with the exception of the arena, which is completely gear balanced, but we'll get into that. So here, I had a great time fighting, well, what was supposed to be the easiest boss on highest difficulty. Turns out that my gear does matter a little bit, and it also turns out having 4,000 health isn't the best idea to do the hardest difficulty bosses with. So
this motherfucker got farmed. This dude got farmed.
you know,
that is not the easiest boss. Okay, Sangoon is definitely not the easiest boss. This dude went in on Calamity 7, bro.
there's not even a window after, even if you do iframe it.
Ain't no way. The motherfucker just one-shot him, dude.
Where am I? Where am I? Where?
I'm just helping him out.
Oh, no. What?
He's pissed.
This game is fucking ass! Who's coding this?
It hit you. Alright? It hit you. It's... the rest of the players in the game. First time? What are you doing? Oh! Nobody saw it. We'll just keep going. Evasion roll is totally... Look, evasion roll is a thing during boss splits. Don't... You can use it during boss splits. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, boys. All right? You can absolutely use evasion roll during boss splits and make it work. Never mind the fact that this dude spent every dime that he had on fucking deep sea elixir and frenzy droughts while he was doing boss splits. Yes! Details is in his chat, bro.
Remember Blue, just stand in the circle. All you have to do is stand in the circle.
Shut up, we don't talk about it. Details caught in 4K, we love it. Hey, he beat it.
That happened.
W. Hey, look at the satisfaction he got from beating it, though. Look at the satisfaction he got from beating it. Look at that reaction, dude. That's how you know it's good content. You know what I mean? Yes! Yes, dude.
For now.
What the f are you doing? What? What are you doing? What year is it? No way right now.
That happened. Then we did some fishing. Oh, here it comes.
No.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay.
Congratulations. That was the best possible outcome that you could have gotten from that. And you made 1.5 million silver. Congratulations. You're up huge. Don't fucking do this. This is a waste of time.
Okay, we got 3 silicons.
Hey, Styrie Treat just resubscribed for 2 months. Any Kaposhu enhancers in chat?
Yeah, hey, Serious Treat, welcome back for 2 months, man. I really appreciate that. Apparently.
How much money is this?
Still got the tech Kaposha. This dude is not even wearing fishing clothes. And I know he has them. 837. We're at 837 right now. I know he's got him. I saw him before. He was... Oh! Right there. I am astute. Nothing gets past me. Now, what the f are you doing? You went all the way out on your Etheria sailboat to go hotspot fishing, and you didn't even put on your +3 fishing clothes, bro? What are you doing? What are you doing?
How much money is this?
3 million silver! You're huge! That's why no one fishes.
We did some cooking, then I looked at hunting, and I honestly thought hunting looked like a 2000s German chicken hunting game.
Oh, he's talking about the sniper rifle hunting. Yeah, it's fun. Sniper rifle hunting's fun, but you can do the normal hunting too. And motherfucker shot that chicken.
So I
Duck
passed
Hunter?
on that. Then we tried out a little bit of PvP, but not much has changed since last time I played. PvP, by the way, you have
What up, Starstruck Luna? How you doing?
battlegrounds, you have arenas that are balanced. Gear balance, only the arenas are gear balanced, everything else isn't. There is also
Okay. AOS is gear capped. Yeah, there's gear caps in there, and it is balanced. And he's right. There's no other gear caps in the game aside from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, of course, and tier 4 Node Wars. Yeah, all of those are capped plus AOS. Also seasonal RBF.
Capped sieges and node wars now.
What the f is this guy doing? What the f is this guy doing?
That are balanced. Gear balance, only the arenas are gear balance, everything else
This
isn't.
dude is literally just running around.
There is also capped.
My dude is legitimately just running through the fucking arena.
Sieges and node wars now, so depending on what gear you have.
Don't you fucking dare tell me that this dude ran a circle. This is standard striker gameplay. Strikers, man. This is bullshit. Look at this motherfucker, dude. This is offensive. Look at this motherfucker.
Gear balance, only the arenas are gear.
You can see how stupid they look by how they run. Watch this.
PvP, by the way.
Watch his arms. Watch his arms while he's running.
Battleground.
He looks.
So you have arenas
He looks under evolved.
that are
Look at this shit. Look. Watch this up.
Balanced. Gear
Idiot.
balance, only the arenas are gear balance, everything else isn't.
And he's just running.
There's
He's not even
also
dashing.
Capped.
He's in full. He's just class buffed, running in circles. This is classic striker gameplay. Full super armor. Full super armor, holding shift and W. Okay.
Sieges and node wars now, so
grab them.
depending on what gear you have.
Got him. Look, that looked fair as. That looked super balanced. God, no problems here.
You know,
Holy
it will
shit.
be capped, so you can't
Oh
completely
my
outgear.
fucking god. 100 hours? He could be Divios. That's the worst part. Motherfucker could actually be Divios. On God. That's what it looks like. Nothing changes. It's the same fucking gameplay. Hey, Mr. Striker, what do you do against Dark Knights? I'm gonna run it and grab what do you do against Awakening Saints? I'm gonna grab them. Like, it's stupid. Every single, what about another Striker? Grab. Like, it's literally the dumbest fucking class in the entire world. Dude runs around, literally just holding sprint in full super armor until he grabs you. And if he misses the grab, guess what? He's gonna continue running around until his grab is off cooldown again. In full super armor.
Your opponents. And then we also did some upgrades and enhancing, obviously. We looked at the
I swear to God, I had better see.
cash. We
Mossad
basically
just
did everything.
resubscribed for 5
So,
months. Yet again you
let's
profit from
look
my
at-
ADHD. Love you, bye.
Thanks, Mosk. I love you, buddy. Welcome back for 5 months, man. I really appreciate that. Almost at the 6-month badge.
The actual review now. So starting out, as we talked about earlier, there's a lot of quests, and BDO quests, just like most Korean.
What was so offensive about that is standard striker gameplay. Actually could have been Divios. If you take the nameplates away, it's the same thing.
MMOs are kind of terrible, and by kind of terrible I mean very terrible.
Yeah.
Like if you're not interested in having like listening and following a storyline, this is just torture.
Questing in all MMOs basically sucks. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Final Fantasy storyline's really good. Most of the questing in Final Fantasy kind of sucks though. WoW's questing is super basic, bitch, but the quest line is actually like really good. If you watch the like cinematics, make it super invested, right? Guild Wars 2 is like whatever. Yeah, you said it was good. Yeah, it was okay.
I hate it.
The storyline is okay, but we're talking about questing. Outside of the main story, MMO questing sucks. Some MMOs have a good main story. Outside of the main story, basically all MMO questing sucks.
I hate every fucking storyline in BDO, every single one. I can't stand all of them.
Based
are boring as fuck and take way too long. And the worst one is the newest one, which is Land of the Morning Light, which you have to.
Okay, that's not okay. Land of the Morning Light is at least like you're doing fun things and stuff. For a new player, it could be good. For a veteran player, it's probably one of the worst struggles you've ever been through, except for finding the Dokebi chests, which unironically is the journal for Land of the Morning Light.
To do the single solo boss fight. So I had to go through that. It took like, I don't know, 8 hours, if not longer than that. Jesus Christ, that was really fucking painful. Then we can also quickly talk about the journals, which I also touched on earlier a little bit. These journals are basically little quest tasks that require you to do certain things in certain areas of the map. The best way to do these is with a guide, because obviously then you can min-max.
The best way to do these is, hello guys, welcome back to Chris Polly channel. Today we're going to learn how to do our Bartali log.
It much more, and what essentially happens is these things give you all kinds of stuff. Like they give you more HP, they can also give you more AP, they give you more evasion, and these are permanent.
Half the chat had flashbacks to Nom, dude.
Things. So you want to do these logs at some point, and they're, again, I don't think they're great content. They're basically just, you know, a collectible thing maybe, or something.
No, you have to do them and it sucks.
Like that. I'm not a big fan of these.
Agree.
I think they're mostly just annoying to do. Same with the quest lines, but that's one of the entry barrier requirements, I guess, to really get into the game, is you do all of the quest lines and you do all of the adventure logs, and then your character will feel a significant amount.
Oh, that's my bad. Today we're going to do the Bartali logs.
Stronger without really getting better gear. Right. Also, I want in this point in the starting out portion, there's a lot of items in this game. If you can see that right now, this is my inventory. Luckily,
never been used.
They added a new thing that's categories, and if you press Control F, you can also search for items, which is very helpful. But there's way too many items. Okay, I mean way too many items, and that kind of ties into the bloat of rewards as well. So if I just go to my Black Spirit save, just this amount of items from the Black Spirit adventure, which is this annoying.
Pro tip: never hit that button. This is just infinite storage. You cannot run out of storage space here. Okay, this is like the room of requirement in Harry Potter. Just leave it in here until you fucking require it. All right, it's all it is. If you need money, you open it up, you take a few things, you walk back out again. All right, but don't with the room of requirement.
Little dice, you can see this amount of items from the Black Spirit adventure, which is this annoying little dice. You can see
based, but couldn't agree more. The annoying little dice. Agree.
Below.
Yeah, bro.
Camera, which you can play a little mini game. There's just so much.
He didn't even roll the die. He didn't even roll the die. He just collects it. Fucking go away and just kept going.
Stuff everywhere, and as a new player or a returning player, this is incredibly overwhelming. They said they want to address that a little bit and, you know, combine some items into just one, so there's not as much bloat. But from buffs to items to even events, and I think that's actually a very big point. It ties into the cash up and the pay to win a little bit. The game has a lot of handouts, and I mean a lot of handouts. So if we, for example, just look at the reward tab here, so you have your challenge tab. So if you do separate things in the game, you get rewards for it. For example, just logging in gives me an experience scroll every day for 60 minutes, which you then also can combine to other things. You get loyalty, you get fail stacks, you get all kinds of life tool items, you get some value, you get a lot of cash up items also for free. But there's so many things, so many handouts in the game that it even...
He actually brings up a really good point. There's so much free shit that you get, but it's all coming through different avenues. You don't even know where... Bro, your Twitch drops are coming through your mail. You got login rewards, which are in your Black Spirit safe. You got your Y menu. You got stuff that's just dropped into your inventory. You got the event drop, bro. You got so much free shit coming in. It's coming from 4 different places all at once. Coupons, true. Like, you got all kinds of stuff, dude. Yeah, like, they should condense that. It should be like, why the fuck does the Y menu even exist anymore, bro? Like... The majority of this should only exist if there's a choice. Okay? And honestly, they should just give both of these every day. Just give one of these every day. Doesn't matter if you remember to claim it or not. It should just go straight into your Black Spirit save. All of the rest of this shit that doesn't have any choice required here should go straight into your Black Spirit save. Look how much shit would be condensed. Look how much stuff I have in here. I don't give a fuck about any of this stuff. Some of this shit goes back to like... This is from April of 2023, and I collected just before that. Like, I used to have stuff from, like, 2019 in my Y menu, bro. He makes a good point.
Somewhat feels like they're overwhelming the actual systems in the game.
Agree.
What I mean by that, there's actually people who only log in for rewards. So that goes further into login rewards. As you can see, if you're a new player, you have literally...
Yeah, like, look at, there's 5 tabs in your login rewards. Bro, like, the new player is just like, what the fuck even is it? I would pay good money if a new player could tell me. I can't even tell you what all these items are. I can tell you what all of them are, but that one. Is that like a guild box thing? The fuck is that? I don't even know what the hell that is. I think that's a guild box you can put in your guild storage. How the fuck are they supposed to know what that is? Yeah.
Literally 5 different login reward tracks. Then you have your daily special reward, or whatever it's called, where you can even buy a battle pass from, so you can get more loot.
It's just not a battle pass. It's not a battle pass. It's completely different than a battle pass. See, in a battle pass, you have the free-to-play track, and then you can pay extra money and get extra rewards. In this one, you have the free-to-play track, and then if you pay extra money, you can get extra rewards. It's different.
And there's another pass in when you play on the season server that gives you some stuff. There's so much. Like, to be honest, it gets even worse. So there's a website here called Garmoth, and which is probably the BDO website if you're starting out.
Damn it! I was really hoping he'd pull up my YouTube and be like, "This is the BDO website."
In the game, that it tells you, it gives you everything, all of the infos that you need, and it's just scrolling down here. You can see the events that are going on right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 different events going on right now. Not only...
Okay, he does bring up another good point, boys. That I could see how that might get really confusing.
That there's also coupon codes. So as you can...
True. Twitch drop, coupon codes, actual coupons, 15 events, Y challenge rewards, login rewards, Black Spirit save, Black Spirit adventure you gotta roll, you got stuff in your mail, make sure you collect that before it expires. Holy shit.
You see at the top right here, these coupons you can actually copy.
He's spitting.
And then you go into the game, go to adventure support and redeem the coupon code. So you can get even more rewards from putting all of your codes in here. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of stuff that you have to think about all the time. There's a lot of events, there's a lot of handouts, there's a lot of giveaways.
Look, we love the free shit. Just make it easier. Put it all in the Black Spirit safe. I don't know how the fuck you're gonna do that. Just put it all in the Black Spirit safe. Just, there you go.
There's login rewards, daily special, whatever the fuck, right? It's completely overwhelming. There's way too much rewards. And that kind of also a little bit takes away, in my opinion anyways, from the RPG sandbox feel. Because in an RPG...
I argue the opposite. I think in an RPG sandbox, people like complex systems. People like having like a lot of different items. People like the diversity of the game. Now, I will say there is a point where it's just too much, right? But like I would expect a lot less items and more of a theme park MMO. So I think it's the opposite.
Sandbox, the things that you drop and that you farm are the things that you own, right? But here it feels like so many items and so many things you just get handed to you.
Congratulations.
Oh, you logged in today? Here you have a box.
Congratulations again. Somehow worse.
That you can gamble with, and there's a fuckload of things in that box, and you can literally become a millionaire in a day.
Holy shit, what a jackpot!
By the way, a lot, because having a lot of money in this game means you have like 100 billion.
Okay, alright,
so
first actual, never mind.
Inflated too. But yeah, that's a big point, and it's very annoying, especially for a new player. And obviously,
they should fix the rolly box. Look how outdated this looks. Okay, look at this rolly box. Look how outdated that UI looks, bro. We need to spice that up.
Because having a lot of money in this game means you have like 100 billion, because the game is so incredibly inflated too. But yeah, that's a big point, and it's very annoying, especially for a new player. And obviously that also ties into the item bloat and the buff bloat and all of that stuff. So it's just an older MMO, and you know, they're trying to keep you in the game with overwhelming you with the amount of rewards and stuff. So let's talk about the open world real quick. I do think the world is still very pretty, and it's a massive world too. Like BDO's world is absolutely
it's one of the biggest of the MMOs on the market for sure.
Crazy big. And well, to traverse faster, they're basically giving all of the players mounts now for free. Although I thought that was a really cool system to actually tame a horse and then train it and then breed it.
Yeah, but all that, you're gonna get a T9 for free and you're gonna like it.
With other horses, all of that system is basically gone. You just get a Pegasus mount when you log in for the first time.
Oh, no. You get a Pegasus, a Dine, and a Doom choice. Pick the cool one. Whatever you think is the coolest.
And then you can upgrade it to an even better Pegasus later down the line. So the world is big, but it doesn't really feel like a world as much anymore as it used to be. It feels much smaller of a world than it used to be, because everyone has really good mounts. You can teleport around the map and so on. Then there's also stuff like Marnie Realm, which is a new addition that came last year, which basically made it so that you have your own...
Just make sure you pick the male horse, whatever horse you go with.
Individual grind spot every hour, which we just talked about, which basically means it also makes the game feel more instanced. Same with the new bosses. There's also new dungeons. There's a lot more instanced content nowadays, so I think that the sandbox world feeling isn't really there anymore, but there's still remnants of it. Also,
I fundamentally disagree with that. I think there's even more to do now in the world than there used to be. It's even more of a sandbox now than it used to be. Like, I just fundamentally disagree with that, but...
So I think let's talk about, well, grinding...
Like, I don't know how the sandbox feel goes away, because you have teleporting, and, like, you can, like, teleport around the world, and your mounts are faster. That's just kind of weird.
Life skills in general. If you like long-term progression, and if you like seeing numbers go up, and your silver go up, and your character getting stronger, I actually think it's a great game to play. Again, you have basically infinite amount of content in there. And the same goes for life skills as well. They're repetitive, but they're very chill. And a lot of the life skills you can literally do AFK too. So, you know, if you have something better to do on another monitor or something, you can do that too. Let's also talk about the combat. I think BDO's combat is generally still the best in the industry.
I will pay good money if he evasion rolls right now.
Every class feels really unique. It can be very technical at a high level, although, well, there's a couple of problems with that. Let's just say that.
He just said combat was the best in the industry, but earlier he said it might not be the MMO you're looking for if you're looking for PvP. Like, wait, what?
Get into that in a second. But generally speaking, BDO's combat is actually still the best in the industry, in my opinion.
There it is.
If you like action combat, that is. I know for a lot of people it's a little bit too stressful, but there's a lot of abilities.
That's what they made Guardian for. That and the step on me effect.
There's a lot of combos, there's a lot of flowing. If you understand which abilities flow well into each other, there's a lot
If you don't like combos, just Succession Nova.
like that, and I would highly...
The combo for Succession Nova is you just pick up your keyboard, you flip it over so that it's actually upside down, and then you can just put it on the desk, just like that, upside down, and you can just roll it back and forth. Just like that. No combos or anything. You just smash your head against it, you know, roll your hands back and forth. It's really easy. It's great. It's just like, it's almost like tab target.
I really recommend playing a lot of the action combat and trying it out, because once you're used to this action combat, there's very few games that have the same feel. And yeah, we can also talk about the PvE a little bit. There's basically grinding in a circle, or grinding, you know, end game spots where you're not running in a circle, but rather just...
Yeah, like that's like, let's not boil it down to just a circle, okay? You can do a triangle. There's squares. Some spots are like pentagons. You know what I mean? Like it's, yeah, I wouldn't just like dumb it down to just a circle, right? The end game can be any number of geometric shapes.
Stand still. There is dungeons now, which you can basically do once a week, I believe, and they give you actually pretty good rewards. Although, again, even the hardest difficulty dungeons aren't like comparable to PvE MMOs like Lost Ark or
Agree.
WoW or Final Fantasy. So if you're looking for endgame boss fights that are really difficult and competitive, I wouldn't really recommend playing this game at all. But if you do want a challenge, you can always go into Black Shrine, which has a lot of different kinds of bosses that you can do, but for that you obviously need to first do the quest lines. So solo bosses here, I actually genuinely think are pretty well made. The only problem is the engine isn't. And you know what? I'll just talk about this now.
What?
The engine of BDO or whatever it is, whether it's the netcode or the coding in general, is super scuffed. Whenever the game requires you to have precise inputs, so that is very apparent when you play PvP, and it's very apparent when you play really difficult boss fights like these ones, in C7 specifically, it's really not worth it. It's really not worth it. The engine does not work properly with very...
I would argue that BDO's engine, even we're like what, 9 years into BDO being a game, right? If you include the time it was out in Korea. I would argue that when it was created, it was state of the art. And nowadays, it's still better than most engines just because it can run the action combat. Does it bug out sometimes in desync and stuff? Yeah, absolutely. But every engine is going to have issues kind of like that, right? It might not be desync, but it could be something, right?
Very specific inputs. There's a lot of desync. There's a lot of like weird bugs that
if what he's saying was true, no one would like BDO's combat. If there was enough desyncing and like, okay, he's like, oh, it can't manage the exact key inputs and stuff. If that was true, none of us would be playing.
Happen where you get a hit in super...
Does it happen sometimes? Yeah, but...
armors and iframes.
Oh, does it make you frustrated as a striker when things knock you out of super armors and frontal guards? Does that make you frustrated? I mean, how do you feel about grabs? But even still, to his point, though, yeah, you do get knocked out of frontal guard and super armor sometimes. Yeah. But it's like an intended mechanic of your dark rifts. Also, WAB.
Boss is literally across the screen and still hits me.
That's part of the mechanic, big dog.
And there's not even a window after, even if you do iframe it.
Okay, that 100% hit you. Wait, like, wait a minute.
If you do iframe it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, it's got a big AoE, like... Yeah.
Where am I? And other...
I mean, he's not wrong because he has his effect, like, his effect opacity turned, like, really far down, so he can't see it all, but, like... That didn't hit? I don't know, man. You're right, it could look better, but, like, they have been fixing the bosses over time. with like how it looks like it hits you and it doesn't. But like I'll give that one to him.
Things like that. It's just not a good time, and
I don't think that's really the
game is
engine.
more easily.
That doesn't really look like the engine's problem though, right? They could fix that in like a patch. Like, and they have like multiple times. I don't really feel like that's the engine's fault though.
Enjoyed if you're a little bit more casual about, you know, competitiveness. So if you really care about min-maxing a boss fight or min-maxing PvP, I think this is not the correct game to do that in.
Oh god. Okay, what game do you think you should do that in? On God. This is the MMO that you play for action combat PvP.
Hey girl.
Like this is the, if you're gonna go pro in an MMO for PvP, what fucking game are you playing? I'm fucking curious. If it's not BDO, all right, yeah, what are you going to Maple Story? Like what is going on right now? Strange to me. Platinum Wolf, what's up, buddy?
I think there's so many limitations with the engine, and I think that
Eve,
holds the entire game, honestly. They just need to
Eve or Albion Online, get the fuck out of here.
revamp the engine, I'm pretty sure. And also get rid of a lot of the resistances in the game. So as you can see down here.
Okay, okay, well, all right. We gotta agree on this.
I have stun, stiffness, freezing, 42% resistance, grapple 42, and so on. Get rid of these resistances of people, but there's always, I believe, like I don't know what the percentage is, but there's always a base percentage where people can literally just resist your CC.
Which CC are you upset about in particular? Is it that one? Are you upset that someone resisted your grab? Are you upset that you ran in full super armor for 8 seconds up to your opponent and then hit E and it didn't grab him? Was that upsetting to you? Even though your grab has grab resist penetration on it. Man, that must really suck. But back to your point on knocking people out of forward guards and super armors. I have a good idea. Why don't we just remove grabs from the game, and then you won't have to worry about grab resist. All done. But he does make a good point, though. The resistances, I think resistances don't need to be removed. I think that they should just only apply in PvE. I thought Divios' suggestion on it was good. Just remove resistances applying in PvP and just make them apply in PvE. That being said, if you do that, you need to give all of the non-grab classes in the game a way to go through frontal guard and super armor that is single target and very close range and on a 15-second cooldown so that we too can grab people. Okay? Whether you give them a grab or you give them a skill that can go through frontal guard super armor, that's basically just how it has to go. You nerf their mobility just a little bit, and then you give them that kind of a skill.
So there's always RNG involved, and on top of that you have a lot of desync and other buggy stuff that is obviously also pretty RNG, you can't predict, and it makes like very high competitive combat feel very RNG, and that's not good, obviously. It's very frustrating, actually.
Fair.
And that's obviously especially noticeable in PvP because there's two players being very fast and, you know, trying their best to kill each other, and there it's very apparent that a lot of the times nothing fucking works. So here's a little clip that I have. That's the only one I have left. It's not the best one.
I swear to God, if this clip is him trying to grab someone, I'm gonna get pissed. On God. Also, his friend's name is Trial These Nuts.
But you can see that my character is over here, and my enemy, which is a Dracania, is over there. If you play that clip now, you can see I get instant.
Did you not like the fact that you got grabbed? Tell me about how much you didn't like it. Go on, do it. Come on. Go on, tell me about how much you didn't appreciate that. Yeah.
instantly grabbed, although I was that far away
Oh
from
god.
the character.
Doesn't that suck? God, I hate it when that happens. Man. Boy, oh boy, do I hate it when I get grabbed. Period.
That's because the game is not fast enough at responding to movement, so the game still thinks
Oh, no. That hit you, big dog. You were definitely within range.
my character's over here
That's how that grab works.
because
And you're in super armor. It can grab you out of it.
it's desyncing, and so he can easily grab me from
Oh,
very
yeah.
far away, although that doesn't
You're
make any
done.
sense. And this is something that happens not occasionally, this is something that happens all the time.
How did I know he was talking about grabs?
You can get
boys?
grabbed in your iframes, which by the way means invincibility frames.
Uh-huh.
So you shouldn't be able to be hit or CC'd at all, but people still
This motherfucking striker is actually complaining to me about grabs. This is probably the best video I've ever seen in my life.
CC you in those super armor, same thing, forward guard, same thing. There's just a certain amount of desync in the game that is always there, and you can't do anything about it. So it's just annoying, and if you're very
To be clear, I completely agree with him. But you're playing striker.
competitive player, I would recommend not playing BDO and playing another PvP game where
What PvP game? What MMO PvP game? Like, he keeps saying that, it's tilting the fuck out of me.
you know, combat actually works. And another thing that's a little bit sad is the open
We should do Ashes of Creation. True.
world PvP and the sieges and the guild versus guild stuff. It kind of made the game popular back in the day. It doesn't really exist anymore. So people like Lakari or King of Allgape and all of these PvP scenes and
Who?
EU, for example, with Enemy and Sovereign, Leviathan, and all the drama there was with odds and all of these like storylines that existed back then.
I know King of All Sand. I don't know King of All Gape. It might be the same guy.
It's not really the same nowadays. The player base seems to be much less in.
But like, we put King of All Sands with Lakari? You put those two together? He's talking EU. Lakari is an EU. I know he's EU, but Lakari's not EU. King of All Sands was also like NA.
Invested in the PvP endgame, although you can still do all
I will say that the Game of Guilds thing that Lakari did, all of that shit's gone now. All of that bullshit drama is gone as well. And I'll be honest with you, yeah, as much as we look back fondly on that shit, I'm glad I don't have to fucking deal with that shit anymore, man. I like today BDO more than I liked back then.
all of those things.
You look back on it fondly, but bro, I don't want to deal with some of the shit that I had to deal with back then.
There seem to be just very few people heavily engaging with it, and even less people very invested in it. And that's kind of what I'm missing from BDO, and that's kind of sad to think about, but back in the day it seemed like there was actually people were actually so invested. And even if you go to, you know, old school BDO Siege players today and ask them, you know, about stories back in the day, they will sit there for 30 minutes and they can tell you all the storylines that happened back in the day.
Of course we can.
Because people genuinely like that.
Blue only knows NA. Well, obviously, I mean, I do know a little bit about EU. Obviously, I don't know like all of the storylines on EU, but what he's saying applies to North America as well. He used Lakari as an example, for fuck's sake.
That much. Not really the case anymore. So yeah, that's my point. One more quick thing before we get into the scoring.
So like he doesn't have like the drama doesn't exist in the game anymore. I think that's a W. Like we still have all the major seed guilds fighting each other. It's just calm down.
Just as an example of how bad BDO's engine really is, FPS, so the more FPS you have in game, the more damage.
He's calling my King of All Ape, which is an EU player, not an A. Yeah, I understand that, but NA has a player called King of All Sands who...
What you do. And that should basically tell you everything about how the engine works, because it's just, there's so many...
It's like this in a lot of games.
Little oversights in it that just make everything feel a lot worse. And it goes even that far, again, in very specific high-end scenarios. If you want to have optimal PvP combos on some classes, you literally need 200 FPS. Or the
Yeah, he's not wrong, but like every single fucking competitive game is like this. More FPS is more DPS. Better performance is gonna let you play better.
combo doesn't work because it gives you attack speed.
A complaint
And the more FPS you have, the more attack speed you have, and therefore the more damage you do. So again, in some scenarios, on some classes, if you can't reach a certain...
Not to the degree of BDO. What the fuck are you going pro in BDO? Get the fuck out of here. Other games actually have like professional scenes where this is actually relevant. In BDO, the worst thing that happens is you had to spawn node because you didn't have a 4090. Whoa, whooped your shit. Okay, here we go again.
certain amount of FPS, you cannot do the PvP combos properly. You know, how does that even happen? It's always been like that, by the way, and they've never addressed it, unfortunately. So this is the scoring right now, but don't let this be...
What the all right. Hold up. This motherfucker has unplayable, painful, dog water, bad, lacking, okay, decent. And then you have to, in order to actually get a positive compliment, you have to actually get to 7. You have to legitimately get to the number 7 out of 10 to even get like reasonable. What the great, outstanding, masterpiece? Why in the is Super Smash Brothers Melee here? Who? Heroes 3 what? Yo, Melee was a phenomenal game, but like what the you have MMO, 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 basically a fucking MMO, Super Smash Brothers Melee. I don't know. I wonder where Lost Ark will place. Didn't make the list. It only goes down to unplayable. I don't know how Bless made it to painful. I'm gonna be honest with you. They had to shut down the servers because it was literally unplayable. Like it was actually unreal. I played a decent amount of Bless. I tried my ass off. It was garbage. It was hot water. But hot dog water. He got thrown in Liberty here. I don't know about that, but like, we'll see when it comes out in the West. He's got New World here. I think that's rough. I think New World has definitely moved really far up this list. New World's way better than bad. Okay, New World is not a bad game. Diablo 4. Oh, okay, we can give that one to him. But like, and honestly, I loved Melee, but I don't know why it's on this tier list. But
Yeah. Too confusing for you, so I'll just explain it really quick. So masterpiece games are games that at the time of their release were literally outstanding, and even years after that are still considered the best in the...
Let's back up for a moment. Let him cook.
Be too confusing for you, so I'll just explain it really quick. So masterpiece games are games that at the time of their release were literally outstanding, and even years after that are still considered the best in the industry.
It's all the bots from the Lost Throne and Liberty accounts.
Fair. Okay, so his definition of a masterpiece is literally at the time of their release, they were state-of-the-art, amazing games to play. How in the did Black Desert not make that? How? When Black Desert released, it was absolutely the state-of-the-art MMO combat staple for graphics. Literally like the best game on the market as far as MMOs go. How?
So masterpiece games are games that at the time of their release were literally outstanding, and even years after that are still considered the best in the industry, which these two are
it's still the best for combat. He said it's the best for combat in the industry. It still said it's the best. It's a 9-year-old game. It literally filled his own definition.
Just took as an example. I would also probably put in Vanilla WoW, which released in 2005, 2004, but that would just...
That's also fair.
Confuse people, and they would think that modern day classic WoW is a you know is a 10, which it isn't, obviously. But yeah, just for as an example, and at the very bottom you can see Bless Online as a 1, Throne Liberty as a 2, although I still think Throne can go probably in one of these two categories.
Bro, again, dog water, painful, bad, lacking, okay, it is somehow below decent. Like, what the
I think in our version, when it releases in the West, it will probably be a 3 because they will be less paid.
it's gonna be exactly the no.
When it releases in the West, it will probably be a 3 because they will be less paid to win.
Get the out of here. No, there won't. It's gonna be the same game. There is no shot. It will be the same game, same pay to win, bro. That's some cope.
Because Amazon usually puts a little bit less pay to win in there than the Korean
I think that's cope. But we'll see.
counterpart. But as of it stands, this is what it is. New World and Diablo, I put in 3. And BDO,
Yeah,
I was very unsure of. At first, I wanted to put it in 4 because
I love it. Masterpiece games, by his definition, by his own definition, were state of the art when they came out, like the benchmark games. Was Black Desert not literally exactly that for combat and graphics in the MMO genre? What the fuck even is this?
because all of the systems the game has, well, it has so many good building blocks. It has so many, like, it has an open world. It has PvP.
Yeah, you can turn on follower mode. That's fine.
Which has an arena, and it has battlegrounds, it has open world PvP, it has guild versus guild PvP, it has node wars, it has sieges, right? It has a lot of content. And for PvP, then for PvE, you have dungeons now, you have grinding, you have professions, all kinds of.
He's trolling. He's trolling. He's trolling right now. He said the masterpiece games were games that were state of the art when they came out and are still playable today. He literally just explained. He said in the video verbatim. He said it's the benchmark standard, like, best game for combat in the MMO genre. And then he just explained how it's got all this new content and it's super playable today.
Them with fishing and hunting and cooking and alchemy and gathering and whatever. And then you have even solo boss fights in the game. But all of these systems are compromised to an extent, meaning the PvP is really struggling because the engine is really terrible. There's way too much RNG in it, and there's also a lot of balance issues all the time. So even if you play the balance,
if you want balance, go play League of Legends, bro. MMOs aren't balanced. It's just not how it works. But, like, okay, and that's fine. Resistances, I can agree with him. Resistances, sure, yeah, remove that.
This arena, which is Arena of Solara, it still doesn't feel great. It's
sure, not even League is balanced. It's as balanced as you're gonna get, right? It's balanced per professional scene, and so, like, it's more balanced than BDO is, right? There's no professional scene for BDO.
Still feels scuffed, and same goes for the solo boss fights. They're also scuffed. The engine can't keep up. There's a lot of weird things happening all the time. Same goes for professions. A lot of the professions literally just come down to you doing the same thing over and over and just progressing your gear so you can get more money from it. Life skills like fishing are basically completely abandoned, and you can, well, if you want to make any profit, you can't even do them. Grinding is also maybe the only thing that still works because it combines the really good combat system with casual environment, so the desync doesn't affect you as much and you can just progress in your own time, so that is good. But again, all of the systems, there's so many different systems in the game that are good fundamentals but completely underdeveloped, right? That's kind of my problem.
Okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here, and I'm gonna pretend that what he just said was that there's too many systems in the game and they're too convoluted and they need to be simplified. Like, that I would be able to get on board with. But what he just said...
There's so many different systems in the game that are good fundamental.
Right, they need to be polished. They're good fundamental, they need to be polished, they need to be simplified down so players can grasp them more easily.
But completely underdeveloped, right? That's kind of my problem.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say, just less tactfully. I'll be honest. I do think that's what he's trying to say, just, like, not exactly as clear as he could.
Every system in the game has potential, but they're not using it properly. And a big part of that is also has to do with the pay to win, in my opinion, because some things are just, you know, you like artisan memories and cron stones and enhancing related stuff in general is completely, it's like impossibly frustrating because there's so many pay to win systems on top of it that if you're doing it without any pay to win feels a lot worse.
I don't think so. I really don't feel like the pay to win is really all that big of an issue in BDO. You can grind for an hour, you can pay $40. Most players are just going to grind for the hour. I honestly don't feel like it's that big of a deal. Is there pay to win in BDO? Absolutely. Absolutely. But there's pay to win in almost every MMO that is popular nowadays. Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but it's come to be a staple of the MMO genre lately.
Progression in general, because I think the game is actually in general very progression centered, and it's very difficult to appreciate good progression if there's a lot of pay to win systems. That being said, in comparison to older BDO, the entry barrier for pay to win is much lower, so there's much less items that you have to buy because they give them out, you know, with events and rewards and login stuff, right?
All of that stuff that you had to buy before, like tier 4 pets or just pets in general, weight, inventory, like I don't know, there's a lot of stuff. Storage was made basically ineffective by the Magnus. Now you can just like, the global storage means that players have to pay a lot less for global or for like storage in each city because it's not as essential because you can just use the Magnus to move stuff. Like there's a lot of like stuff that you just don't have to buy anymore. I agree.
So there's much less less upfront paying for BDO, much less of an entry barrier, but there's still a lot of ways you can definitely progress faster by paying. So that also kind of, you know, it always is a negative point for me, especially because they advertise it in the game too, and it's like, I don't know, it just seems really...
BDO is pay to get information. Someone who has no job might kick your fucking ass even if you pay 50K. Why'd you time him out, bro? That's a fine statement.
Really annoying and bloated, that too. That being said though, I still think BDO has the best combat in the genre, so it can't be...
What? It's 9 years old. It does have the best combat in the genre. To be clear, it does. But shouldn't it go up here if it's still playable after that many years and it was that good on release? I'm just saying, by your own definition.
Be a 4 out of 10. And
he moved it back down.
Think they have the best community management in the genre.
That is true. Is he going to move us up because our CM team is fucking carrying us?
Actually, community managers. There will be, you know, in Twitch chats talking to you. There will be like literal game masters in game doing events with you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, they'll spawn in and shoot me with a matchlock. It's great.
Is very undervalued in the modern MMO scene. But I also think...
Yeah, also, that the chat does bring up a good point. Imagine Super Smash Bros. Melee having more content than Black Desert Online. And, like, wrap your head around, like, how much copium you have to be on to, like, grasp that.
This is outstanding. And also, just before we actually give you the score, if you just want a game that lets you progress in a chill way, maybe even while watching a movie on the second screen, and you just want to see your character become stronger slowly, just want to see your money go up, then I actually think BDO is probably a 7 out of 10. So just in that niche...
We made the baseline for being reasonable, guys, because everything else is a negative descriptor.
The solo progression...
But he's going to move us back down.
Give him a minute. Pace, no daily bullshit or very little... kind of experience. I actually think BDO is good. I actually think you can play that as much as you want. There's infinite progression and you can keep going forever. Great.
I forgot Bless Online existed. It doesn't. They took the servers down forever ago.
Right? As an overall game though.
But so what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that Bless Online is quite literally unplayable. Like, you can't even boot up the game anymore because the servers aren't live. And he has it in the wrong tier. All right.
I would put BDO at a 5. I think it's okay. I think a lot of the building blocks the game has are good. They're just underdeveloped. So here would be my top three things that I want to have changed in BDO.
Okay.
First, which they're kind of addressing a little bit already, is all of the item buff handout.
That is fair. 100%.
Bloat. We don't need 15 events. We don't need
+1.
5 different login rewards. We don't need daily special on top of it with a battle pass. We don't need 50 billion different items that barely do anything.
True.
Like, you know what I mean? There's way too many things in the game, and that always happens with older MMOs, but it's especially apparent in BDO. So that's one thing that I definitely want to see changed. The second most important thing would be the engine or whatever causes the desync. Because the solo...
that you're reaching. We could use an engine update. Absolutely. That would be sick. But the problem is BDO runs on its own engine. So it's not like we can go from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. We literally, they have to build a whole new engine and then put it in the game. What the copium is that Crimson Desert runs on a better engine and they're going to give us that engine. That's cope as shit, but we need that. That's going to happen. Don't worry about it.
Boss fights and the PvP would be incredibly fucking good if the engine would work properly. If it didn't feel like this.
You think so? It definitely could happen.
Buggy, decent.
Are they? I have no idea. I don't even know if Crimson Desert's engine is different than BDO's. I have no idea. We don't have enough info on the game.
Mess that actually, and you know, maybe also get rid of the resistances on top of it, so you have even less RNG in the combat system. That would be really, really great. I would love that. That would make the game so much better instantly. Although I would also say it's probably one of the harder things to fix, because if it's related to your engine, that's probably very difficult to redo. Although they're working on a new engine for Crimson Desert, but you know, who knows. That would definitely make the game instantly a lot better.
Are they?
Two things. And the last thing that is also I find really important is there's a lack of goals in the game. Not as in like, oh yeah, I want to get that item or whatever, but lack.
I'm genuinely trying to consider if this is a fair, because there's two ways of looking at this. There's two ways of looking at this. Either one, he's going to go the route that it just says that, well, like, you just get more gear for the sake of getting more gear, and it doesn't really feel like you need it for anything. But then there's the other side of it that it says it has like the most meaningful like progression system of any MMO in the genre, because like it's got like the least power creep of any MMO. So like in that sense, it's got great end game because like you just constantly keep progressing forever. So let's see what he has to say. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Of what you do with the items. So as an example, back in the day, the main reason why I grinded was to then use my gear in PvP. And, you know, beat other people with my gear.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it feels much more like you grind to grind faster. You know, you run in a circle just to run in a circle faster. You, I don't know, go fishing or hunting just to make more money with hunting. It's just...
Fair. That is true. Although... I'm not sure what Ngami is, but we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
It just feels like the goal of BDO right now is just to keep progressing. And I think for me personally, that is too little incentive. For me, I need something to look forward to. May that be new raids or dungeons or whatever.
I'll be honest. I agree. I think that, yeah, new raids and dungeons that require really end game gear would be a W. Or just any any Ngami content would be great, bro.
whatever, may that be actually good PvP, whatever it is. It needs some sort of thing to look forward to, something to progress towards, something you're looking forward to. That's what's lacking for me. And it's ever
Dungeons and raids, I don't want to learn a mechanic. I expect that from someone named Ayaya Spammer. Fits the description.
since I've stopped doing sieges in PvP BD and BDO, that's always been my problem. That's why I could never fully come back to BDO, because I just didn't see a reason. I just didn't see a meaning behind my grinding. I just felt like I was running in a hamster wheel perpetually, and there was nothing, you know, changing that. So those are the three things that, if BDO changed, would instantly put it into a 7 out of 10.
It only would be a 7? They could literally upgrade the engine. Give us endgame PvE, PvP content, meaningful endgame content. What was the first thing he said? And reduce item bloat. They could do all three of those things, and we barely, and I mean barely, scrape above decent. What is this tier list, man?
Maybe even an 8.
Oh my god, then that's fine then.
Because as I said, I think BDO has all of the right things in place. All they need to do is work on their
Bod shit. I get it, man. I'm fat.
existing systems. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. They don't have to add new gimmicks. Everything that's in place, the solo bosses, the dungeons, the professions, the world, the PvP systems with arenas, node wars, all of those things. The massive, like, different kind of PvE stuff that you can do, from whale hunting to hunting lions and whatever you can.
I completely agree. All of the systems you made, when you said earlier that it felt less like a sandbox MMO, yeah, this helps prove your point about that.
You can do so many things in the game. Just use your existing foundation and develop it further. Polish it.
Better. That was a good way of saying it. Definitely polish it. And by polish it, we mean remove that shit and just make it better. Medaya can be removed from the game and no one would give a shit. I'm not joking. If they literally just took Medaya off the fucking map, just removed this entire section of the map like this, no one would give a f. In fact, we would like it more, because we would be able to reach the Dekia spots faster, and a new player would be able to get to their grind zones faster. I'm just saying.
Refine it, and the game will instantly go to a 7, maybe an 8 out of 10.
Holy shit.
That is my take. So yeah, that was 100 hours of BDO. I will put it at
Ulukid is part of Medaya? No, it's not. Out of here.
5 out of 10 for now. Again, with a lot of potential. And I also want to say that I don't want to put it ever below a 5 out of 10, because I do still believe BDO has always had and still has the potential to compete with the best MMOs in the industry, if they stop working on gimmicks and rather work on their, you know, foundation and refine them. So
Should give us an example of a gimmick.
100 hours of BDO, 5 out of 10. That might also be the highest rated MMO I've had on this channel.
What do you mean might also be? Honest, no, it's not. It's not the highest rated MMO, because you have Super Smash Brothers on the same list that you have New World, Diablo 4, Black Desert Online, and get this, Bless. And the best part of the whole thing is, again, this is the fundamental reason I don't understand the tier list, is that Bless servers were literally shut down, making it unplayable, and you still don't have it in the unplayable tier. I don't know.
That I've officially rated anyways, which is kind of sad. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this was helpful. And I hope for anyone who is looking for a long-term progression-based MMO, did you also see that the game is actually pretty good. But for anyone else who's like...
What? You just said there's no end-game progression! Son of a bitch! I was about to agree with him, bro. He literally just said it's lacking a meaningful endgame. Almost in the same sentence. if you're looking for a game with meaningful endgame, play BDO. Also, one of the fundamental problems is it has no meaningful endgame. Not to mention the fact that he literally started off this tier list.
So I'll just explain it really quick. So masterpiece games are games that at the time of their release were literally outstanding, and even years after that are still considered the best in the industry, which these two I just took as an example. I would also probably put in Vanilla WoW, which released in 2005, 2004.
You mean original World of Warcraft?
2004, but that would just
But hold on, listen to what he says. He's just kind of
confuse people, and they would think that modern day classic WoW is
modern day classic. Well, by your definition, let's back up for a minute. By your definition that you just explained, modern day classic WoW, when it released, was in fact classic WoW, which would be put in the masterpiece tier. If you put classic WoW up there, you have to put retail up there too, because it's still playable too. Right? By his own damn definition. No, not at all. I'm going by his definition, not by what I actually rank it. He literally just said it. Games that were a masterpiece when they came out. World of Warcraft was a masterpiece and set the bar when it came out. So he means vanilla, not classic. Well, vanilla and classic are basically the same thing, right? Like, again, like, listen to the definition.
Let this be too confusing for you, so I'll just explain it really quick. So masterpiece games are games that at the time of their release were literally
WoW was released in what, 2006, 2004, right? It was a masterpiece. It was the benchmark in the genre. It still kind of is, right? Like no question. 2004, yeah. That's retail WoW. Now I agree. Classic WoW also belongs up there, but like
really outstanding, and even years after that,
vanilla WoW does not equal classic WoW. Okay, the vanilla WoW was basically the pre-classic WoW before classic WoW actually existed.
Are still considered the best in the industry.
And WoW is still considered the best in the industry based on a video we're about to watch. Now, I disagree. Okay, so I agree with a lot of his takes in the video. I actually do think that he's played a fair amount of time to actually give it a review, which is solid. I don't understand, like, this tier list is very strange to me. It's just all of the games he's reviewed on the channel, so this is just kind of a strange tier list. To have everything in the garbage tier, basically. But like, I do agree that he makes some good points about item bloat and like the login rewards being too much. Like, a lot of his takes, especially in the first half of the video, were based as he does have some hot takes in the video, but I actually like the video overall for sure. I'm definitely gonna give it a thumbs up. There you guys go. There's the video right there.